These true crime cases are so wild, you won't believe they actually happened. True crime has become a cultural phenomenon, captivating audiences everywhere with its dark and twisted tales of murder, mystery, and mayhem. From podcasts to documentaries, it seems like everyone's obsessed with getting a glimpse into the darker side of human nature. And for good reason. There's something undeniably fascinating about delving into the minds of those who commit heinous crimes, and trying to make sense of the senseless. But as we dive into the world of true crime, we're often left with more questions than answers. How could someone do such a thing? What drives a person to commit such atrocities? But it's not just the what that's intriguing, it's the why. What lies beneath the surface of these seemingly ordinary individuals, driving them to commit acts of unspeakable horror? Is it a product of their environment, their upbringing, or simply a twisted sense of morality? Today, we're going to explore some of the most unbelievable true crime cases that will leave you speechless, cases that will challenge your perceptions of humanity and leave you wondering how such evil could exist in our world. From the shocking to the bizarre, these cases will take you on a journey into the depths of human depravity, and challenge everything you thought you knew about the nature of evil. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear is going to be a wild ride. One of the most fascinating aspects of true crime is the unanswered questions that surround many of these cases. Why did the killer target this particular victim? What drove them to commit such a heinous crime? And perhaps most hauntingly, what became of the perpetrator after the crime? These are the questions that haunt us, that keep us up at night, and that drive us to keep digging, to keep searching for answers. In many cases, the lack of answers is what makes the crime even more terrifying. Take, for example, the case of the Zodiac Killer. This serial killer terrorized the San Francisco Bay Area in the late 1960s and early 1970s, killing at least 5 people and taunting the police with cryptic letters and codes. But despite countless investigations and tips, the killer was never caught, and the case remains one of the most infamous unsolved crimes in American history. Another aspect of true crime that's equally captivating is the sheer complexity of the cases. Take, for instance, the case of the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. On the surface, it seems like a straightforward case of kidnapping and murder, but as you delve deeper, you realize that nothing is as it seems. The investigation was marred by corruption, false leads, and mistaken identities, making it one of the most convoluted cases in history. These complexities are what make true crime so fascinating: the twists and turns, the red herrings and misdirection, the endless possibilities and theories. It's a puzzle that's impossible to solve, and yet, we can't help but try. In the following cases, you'll see just how complex and twisted these crimes can be. You'll meet killers who are calculating and cold, who planned and executed their crimes with precision. You'll meet victims who were innocent and unsuspecting, who were caught in the crosshairs of madness and despair. And you'll see just how easily the line between good and evil can be blurred. Case number 1, the murder of Sherry Papini. On November 2, 2016, Sherry Papini, a 34-year-old mother of 2, went out for a jog in Redding, California, and never returned. Her disappearance sparked a massive search effort, with the police scouring the area for any sign of her. But as the days turned into weeks, hope began to dwindle. It wasn't until 3 weeks later, on Thanksgiving Day, that Sherry was found, bound and beaten, but alive. The investigation that followed was a complex web of twists and turns, with the police chasing down leads and suspects, only to find themselves back at square one. It wasn't until several months later that the truth began to unravel, and the real story behind Sherry's disappearance was revealed. Case number 2, the Golden State Killer. Between 1976 and 1986, a serial rapist and murderer terrorized the state of California, committing at least 12 murders, 45 rapes, and multiple burglaries. The case went cold, but in 2018, DNA evidence led investigators to a shocking suspect, Joseph James DeAngelo, a 72-year-old former police officer. The details of the case are chilling. DeAngelo would break into his victims' homes, often while they were asleep, and commit unspeakable acts of violence. But what makes this case even more disturbing is the fact that DeAngelo was a police officer at the time, and was sworn to protect the very people he was terrorizing. Case number 3, the Amanda Knox case. In 2007, 20-year-old Amanda Knox, an exchange student in Italy, was arrested for the murder of her roommate, Meredith Kirker. The case was highly publicized, with the media portraying Knox as a cold-blooded killer. But as the investigation unfolded, it became clear that nothing was as it seemed. The case was marred by corruption, false evidence, and a botched investigation. It wasn't until years later, after Knox had spent 4 years in prison, that she was finally exonerated. But the damage had already been done, Knox's reputation had been ruined, and her life would never be the same. As we delve deeper into these cases, you'll see just how dramatic the twists and turns can be. You'll see how one piece of evidence can change the entire trajectory of the investigation, and how the smallest mistake can have devastating consequences. In the case of Sherry Papini, it was a single piece of DNA evidence that cracked the case wide open. In the case of the Golden State Killer, it was a DNA match that led investigators to the suspect. And in the case of Amanda Knox, it was a series of errors and missteps that led to her wrongful conviction. These moments are what make true crime so captivating: the sudden revelations, the stunning twists, the shocking surprises. They're what keep us on the edge of our seats, what make us gasp in horror, and what make us question everything we thought we knew. As we explore these cases further, you'll see just how pivotal these moments can be. You'll see how they can change the course of the investigation, how they can reveal new suspects and new motives, and how they can bring closure to the victims and their families. But perhaps most importantly, you'll see just how these moments can challenge our assumptions about humanity, and about the nature of evil itself. You'll see how easily the line between good and evil can be blurred, and how even the most seemingly ordinary people can be capable of extraordinary evil. As we wrap up this journey into the world of true crime, it's worth reflecting on the impact these cases have on our society. They challenge our perceptions, they test our empathy, and they force us to confront the darker aspects of human nature. But they also serve as a reminder that justice is never guaranteed, that the truth is often hidden, and that the pursuit of justice is a never-ending battle. So, which case shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're ready for more true crime, be sure to check out our next video, where we'll be diving into even more unbelievable cases that will leave you speechless. Thanks for watching.